Welcome, my dear learners, for this course on control engineering. In this module 2, we were discussing on block diagram reduction and signal flow graph. So far, we have completed our discussion on block diagram reduction. From today, we are beginning a new topic, that is signal flow graph. The signal flow graph is a diagrammatic or pictorial representation of variables of set of linear algebraic equations for a linear control system. So if I represent pictorially the variables of linear algebraic equations governing for a linear control system, then it is known as signal flow graph. The advantage of the signal flow graph over the block diagram reduction is that we won't alter the graph at any point of time. Just by capturing the data from the signal flow graph, we will determine what is the overall transfer function of the system. Unlike block diagram reduction, wherein which we are reducing the block diagram to its canonical form and finally we are determining the overall transfer function. That thing we are not employing here in signal flow graph. Just we are obtaining the data from the given graph, and by using Mason's gain formula we are determining the overall transfer function. This concept of signal flow graph was first determined by S.J. Masons. Hence the formula is named after this scientist, that is Mason's gain formula. The important terminologies which will be employed for solving problems on signal flow graph will be explained through the problems itself. Coming for determination of overall transfer function of a given system used in signal flow graph is given by Mason's gain formula. So therefore you should know what is Mason's gain formula, and also you should know how to find each term in this formula. The Mason's gain formula is given by the overall transfer function that is output by input. The overall transfer function output by input is given by 1 by delta summation of k is equal to 1 to n pk delta k. So this is the Mason's gain formula to determine overall transfer function of a linear control system. This signal flow graph is applicable only for linear control systems. Make a note of it. Now coming for each terms of this Mason's gain formula, the first very important observation is k. K stands for number of forward paths. Number of forward paths. So in a given signal flow graph, how many forward paths are there should be identified, and it is noted down as value of k. So there will be n number of forward paths. Next, coming for pk. Pk is nothing but path gain of kth path. Let us say there are two forward paths, then P1 is the path gain of first path and P2 will become path gain of second path. So path gain is an important term to be understood. If I consider this signal flow graph which is given for our problem number 1, which I will be solving in today's lecture itself, between the nodes, so these are called nodes which are indicated by dots or small zeros which I noted down here are nothing but nodes. So how many nodes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Totally there are 8 nodes in this signal flow graph. Between the nodes we have branch gain. So between the nodes, that is between node 3 and 4, between node 3 and 4, the branch gain is G1. Branch is nothing but path between the nodes, between any two nodes is called as branch. The gain of that branch is G1. Here between node number 4 and node number 5, the branch gain is G2. G2 is the branch gain between node number 4 and 5. Whereas coming for path gain is the product of branch gain in the given path. So if I consider this as the path number 1, that is from input to output, the straight line is the forward path. So therefore the path gain is the product of branch gains. So product of branch gains. How many branch gains are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 6 branch gains are there. Take the product of those 6 branch gains. So 1 into 1 is 1, 1 into G1 is G1, G1 into G2, G2 into G4, G4 into 1. So therefore, the forward path gain of path 1 is G1, G2, G4. So this is known as path gain. So path gain is the product of branch gain. Branch gain is the gain between the two nodes. Kindly make a note of it, which is very, very important. So pk is nothing but path gain of kth path, where these are nothing but forward paths only. So hence let me take it as forward path gain of kth path. Forward path gain. Why I am specifying forward path only? Because we also have feedback lines which will cause loops. Let me explain that also. Pk is nothing but forward path gain of kth path. This k varies from 1 to n. So for the path under consideration, you should determine the forward path gain. What is path gain? It is a product of branch gains. Next, coming for delta. So delta is nothing but determinant of the graph. Determinant of the graph. How to determine the determinant of the graph? We have the formula for delta, which is given by 1 minus sum of gain of all the loops, sum of gain of all the loops plus sum of gain products, sum of gain products sum of gain products of combination of all two non-touching loops minus sum of gain product of combination of all three non-touching loops. So likewise it continues. So what does it mean? 1 minus sum of gain of all the loops. So for this given problem, if I consider this is one loop, what is a loop? For a loop, this beginning and ending points are same. So if I start from here, you can go like this, again I'll come back to the original point. So if I consider this one, I'll start from here, I'll go here and again I will come back here. So what is the gain of this loop? G1, G2 minus H2. What is the gain of this loop? G4 minus H1. So G4 into minus H1 is the gain of this loop. G1, G2 minus H2. So multiply all this, the gain of this loop will become G1, G2 into minus H2. Hence the gain of this loop is minus G1, G2, H2. So this is loop gain, this is loop gain. So like that, I should determine how many number of loops are there in this graph and add sum of all the loop gains. That is what sum of gain of all the loops. Next, I should check how many loops are there in this graph, and then I should determine combination of two non-touching loops. So if you observe, this loop and this loop are not touching each other, correct? So this loop and this loop are not touching each other. So therefore the combination is L1 and L2 are not touching each other. So multiply product of these two, L1 into L2, that is one set. If this and this are not touching each other, let us say this is another loop, right? I'll start from here, I'll go like this, and I'll again come back to the initial point. Let us say this loop 3 and loop 1 is not touching, then that is another combination of two non-touching loop. L1 L2 is not touching, L1 L3 is not touching in case, then I have combination of two non-touching loop as two sets, that is L1 and L2, L1 and L3. Like that I can have any number of sets. So take the product of two non-touching loops gains and sum it up. That is what the third term here indicates. Coming for the fourth term, that is sum of gain product of combination of all three non-touching loops. If these three are not touching to each other, then the first set is L1 into L2 into L3. What is L1? L1 is the loop gain of loop 1. What is L2? Loop gain of loop 2. What is L3? Loop gain of loop 3. So how much is loop gain of L2? Loop gain of L2 is G4 into minus H1, minus G4 H1. What is loop gain of L1? G1 G2 minus H2, that is minus G1 G2 H2. So like that I should determine three non-touching loops loop gain, product of them. I should obtain likewise how many combinations of three non-touching loops are there, then multiply their loop gains and take the summation of them. That will give us the term number 4. Likewise we can go for sum of plus sum of gain product of combination of all 4 non-touching loops. Next minus sum of gain product of combination of all 5 non-touching loops. Like that it will go sum. So maximum in a given problem you can get only combination of 3 non-touching loops. Hence if you remember these 4 terms, that is more than enough. Usually you will get only combination of 2 non-touching loops. In some cases you will get combination of 3 non-touching loops. So therefore if you remember the formula this much, that is more than enough to solve any given problem on signal flow graph. That is to find the value of determinant of the graph. Next moving for the last term, that is delta k. Delta k is the value of delta. Delta k is the value of delta what you have calculated by eliminating value of delta by eliminating gain of loops that are touching the kth path, Now if you observe, let us say I have 2 forward paths. Then if I consider path 1, this is a straight path, if I consider this as a forward path number 1, then the value of delta 1 will become value of delta after eliminating the loop gains of loops which are touching path 1. So if you observe, all the loops are touching path 1. So therefore I should eliminate L1, I should eliminate L2, I should eliminate L3, because all these 3 loops are touching path 1. Hence eliminate all these 3 loops. Value of delta by eliminating gain of loops that are touching the kth path. Here the path is path number 1, touching the first path. If I eliminate the loops that are touching first path, I should eliminate L1, I should eliminate L2, I should eliminate L3. So all the loops are eliminated. Hence the delta 1 value will become 1 minus 0 plus 0 minus 0. It is nothing but delta 1 is equal to 1. So this is how you should solve. You will get better understanding once we solve problem on signal flow graph. With this very brief introduction to signal flow graph and Mason's gain formula, which will be employed to determine overall transfer function of the given linear control system, let us address the problem number 1. Now moving ahead for problem number 1, which states that for the system shown in figure, determine C of S by R of S, that is overall transfer function using Mason's gain formula. Now if I employ Mason's gain formula for this signal flow graph, just now I have discussed, it is given by overall transfer function is equal to 1 by delta summation of k varies from 1 to n pk delta k, where delta is determinant of the graph, pk is forward path gain of kth path, delta k is the value of delta after eliminating the gains of loops that are touching kth path. Let us solve problem number 1, thereby you will get better understanding on Mason's gain formula to determine overall transfer function. So in step 1, determine how many number of forward paths are there, that is find the value of k. So in step 1, find the value of k. Total number of forward paths. How many number of forward paths are there? So that will give you the value of n. So how many number of forward paths are there? So this is the starting point, this is the ending point. Always remember, signal cannot flow opposite to the direction of arrow. Always signal should flow in the direction of arrow. So forward means from the starting point you should reach the end point. There should not be any arrows moving opposite to your direction. So therefore this is R of S. From here if I start, so I will go like this and I will reach the destination. So I have one path like this, the straight line is the path number 1. Now you check any other paths are possible. If I go like this, I can't go because your signal is coming in opposite direction. So this is invalid, this is not the forward path. Now if I go like this, if I take a turn here, again the signal is coming in opposite direction. So this is not the forward path. Next I will go like this, I will take this path. So this is forward. So therefore I will go like this and I will reach the destination. So I got path number 2 like this. That is 1, 1, G1, G3, G4 destination. So this is path number 2. Next, if I go like this and if I try to come here, the signal is coming opposite to me. So therefore I cannot go like this. So only possibilities is a straight line and I can come like this, take over G3 and reach the destination. So how many forward paths are there? 2 forward paths are there here. So therefore n is equal to 2. Now what is the value of k? K varies from 1 to n. So therefore the value of k is how much? 1 comma 2, because we have 2 paths. K varies from 1 to n. Just now I written the Mason's gain formula. There you can see summation of k varies from 1 to n. So k varies from 1 to 2. So therefore k can take a value of 1 and 2. So there is no other forward paths. Next, in step 2, find the value of pk. Find pk. Correct? So therefore k can take 1 and 2, which means we have 2 paths. Now I should determine path gain of forward path 1, path gain of forward path 2. So what is the path gain of forward path 1? It is nothing but the product of branch gains. What is branch gain? The gain between 2 nodes. So therefore I should take the product of branch gains along path 1. So straight line is the path 1 I said. So therefore multiply all the branch gains in path 1. So 1 into 1 is 1, 1 into G1 is G1, G1 into G2 is G1 G2, G1 G2 into G4 is G1 G2 G4, G1 G2 G4 into 1 is G1 G2 G4. That's it. So therefore path gain of forward path 1 is G1 G2 G4, G1 G2 G4. Now what is the path gain of forward path 2? That is 1 into 1 is 1, 1 into G1 is G1. Next I should go like this, G1 into G3 into G4, then I will reach the destination. So therefore the path gain is G1, G3, G4. So the path gain is G1, G3, G4. So these are the 2 forward paths and their path gain. So this completes step 2. Next, move for step 3 to find the loops. Step 3, loop gains. You have to find the loop gains. First identify how many number of loops are there. So if I observe, this is one loop, I'll go like this, again I'll come back. So this is a loop. Initial point and the final point are same. So I can take this as loop. So therefore first loop gain, loop 1 is G1 G2 minus H2. Product is minus G1 G2 H2. So I got one loop. Again you can see here another loop is there. This is starting point. I'll go like this and come back. So loop gain is G4 minus H1. That is loop gain of loop 2 is minus G4 H1. Minus G4 H1. Any other loops are there, you check. So if I start from here, I'll go like this. I cannot come back. So this cannot be a loop. Next, moving ahead for third one, I'll start here. I'll come like this. Again I can go back. Correct? So like this, again you go back. So loop 3 is 1 into G1 into G2 into G4 into minus 1. So it is minus G1 G2 G4. So loop gain of loop 3 is minus G1 G2 G4. Next you check any other possibilities are there. Any other possible loops are there? Is it only 3 loops? No, there is one more loop is there. That loop is, I can go like this, move in G3, go here and again come back to the original position. That is loop by using path 2. So use path 2, you can generate one more loop. So therefore loop 4 will be G1 G3 G1 G3 G4 minus 1. So it is minus G1 G3 G4. So this is loop 1, this is loop 2, this is loop 3 and this is loop 4. So for better understanding, if I write the loops, we have loop 1 like this, G1 G2 minus H2. This is G4 minus H1, and next we had one G1 G2 G4 minus 1, and the last one is by using path 2, that is 1 G1, we are going like this, G3 G4 minus 1. So these are the 4 possible loops which I observed and I noted down the loop gains of them. Next, moving for step number 4. Step number 4, to find determinant. To find determinant. So we know that determinant is given by delta is equal to 1 minus sum of all the loop gains. So sum of all the loop gains will become what? Sum of all the loop gains will become L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus L4. So if I add all this by taking minus common, it will become minus of minus will become plus. If I add all these gains, it is G1, G2, H2 plus G4 H1 plus G1 G2 G4 plus G1 G3 G4, G1 G3 G4. So 1 minus sum of loop gains of all the loops. So sum of loop gains of all the loops, I taken minus common, so minus of minus has become plus. Next, plus sum of gain products of all combinations of two non-touching loops. So check which are the combinations of two non-touching loops. So combination of two non-touching loops are L1 and L2 are non-touching. So L1 and L2 are not touching each other. And L1 and L4 is touching here itself. L2 and L4 is also touching. And L3 is touching all the three. So therefore the only possibility is L1 and L2 are not touching each other. So this is the only combination of two non-touching loops. Whereas L1 and L3 is touching, L1 and L4 is touching, L2, L3 is touching, L2, L4 is touching, L3, L4 is also touching. So if you want to verify, take one loop, check with others. Take L1, check L2, L1, L2 is not touching. Take L1, check with L3, L1, L3 is touching. So this is L1, this is L3, so it is touching. Next check L1 with L4, L1 with L4, this is L1, this is L4. So here only it is touching. Similarly, you can check for L2, L3, L2, L4 and finally between L3 and L4. So the only possibility is L1, L2 is not touching each other. Next, moving for combination of three non-touching. There is no combination of three non-touching. So hence we have only two non-touching plus sum of product of two non-touching. Product is L1, L2. So L1 into L2 is how much? Minus of minus is plus G1, G2, G4, H1, H2 minus sum of gain products of all combinations of three non-touching loop. There does not exist any non-touching three loops. Only we have non-touching two loops, L1 and L2. So sum of product of two non-touching. So we have only one product, that is L1 and L2. So therefore I wrote only L1 and L2. Plus if I add, again I should write L2, L3 if they are not touching. Plus if L2, L4 is not touching, again I should write L2, L4. So like that it continues for sum of gain products of two non-touching. Similarly you should write for three non-touching loops. Hope it is clear. So this is what L1 into L2. That's it. So we have done with determinant, calculation of determinant for the given signal flow graph. Moving for step number 5. Step number 5, to find delta K. To find delta K. In order to find delta K, I should have been written one step extra. That sounds better. Let me write that. So how we obtained this delta? So it would be better if we would have write this one first. It is L1 1 minus sum of all the loops, L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus L4 plus L1 L2. So based on this we have written this one. So this should come first and then this step. I skipped this step thinking that you people understood the concept, but write this step, determine the value of delta K. This helps in determining the value of delta K. So this should come first and next this should come. So therefore I'll put this in bracket. So I wrote on L1, L2, L3, L4. I took minus common, L1, L2. Done. So since I written the formula properly, this extension is not required for you people. So now I can easily find the value of delta k. Now you go for step number 5 to find delta k. So what are the values of k? K varies between 1 and 2. I should find delta 1, I should find delta 2. So therefore, if I go for delta 1, it is the value of determinant by eliminating gain of loops which are touching path 1. So what are the loops touching path 1? So this is path 1. We have 4 loops. Check what are the loops touching path 1 and eliminate them. Loop 1, yes, it is touching path 1. Loop 2, yes, it is touching path 1. Loop 3, of course, it is made up of path 1 itself. Then loop 4 is also touching path 1. So all the loops are touching path 1, hence eliminate all the loops. So if I eliminate all the loops, eliminate this, eliminate this, eliminate this, eliminate this, L1 is also touching, L2 is also touching. So if I eliminate all these, then I left out with delta 1 is equal to 1 only. This is because all the loops are touching. All the loops are touching path 1. Next, what is the value of delta 2? Delta 2 is the value of delta by eliminating gain of loops which are touching path 2. So this is path 2. Now loop 1, yes, it is touching path 2. Loop 2, yes, it is touching path 2. Loop 3, yes, it is touching path 2. And loop 4 is made up of path 2 itself. So therefore all the loops are touching path 2. Hence if I eliminate all the loops touching path 2, so all the loops are touching path 2, therefore eliminate completely. I left out with only 1, because all the loops are touching path 2. If in case L2 is not touching path 2, let us consider loop 2 was not touching path 2, then what would be the answer? 1 minus eliminate L1, eliminate L3, eliminate L4, again eliminate L1, which means 1 minus L2. So 1 minus L2 would be the answer for delta 2 if loop 2 was not touching path 2. Here it is in combination with L1, I should eliminate L1, therefore 0 into anything will become 0. So here it is get eliminated, only here L2 would have been left out. So then the answer would become 1 minus L2. What is 1 minus L2? 1 plus G4 H1. 1 plus G4 H1 would be the answer for delta 2 if loop 2 would have not been touching path 2. But unfortunately here loop 2 is also touching path 2, therefore I should eliminate loop 2 also. So since all the loops are touching, I eliminated all the loops, therefore I left out with only 1. So this completes all the parameters involved in Mason's gain formula. So therefore finally I can find the transfer function. So in step 6, let me find the overall transfer function. Overall transfer function. So to calculate overall transfer function, use Mason's gain formula, which is given by C of S by R of S is equal to 1 by delta sum of k varies from 1 to n pk delta k. So therefore the solution for this problem is C of S by R of S is equal to P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2, because k varies from 1 to 2. So P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2. How much is P1? P1 is G1, G2, G4 into delta 1 is 1. So therefore P1 delta 1 is G1, G2, G4 into 1 plus P2 delta 2. P2 delta 2 is 1, 1 into P2 is G1 G3 G4 plus G1 G3 G4 whole divided by delta. So delta is here, it is 1 plus G1 G2 H2 plus G4 H1 plus G1 G2 G4 plus G1 G3 G4 plus G1 G2 G4 H1 H2 plus, let me continue here, plus G1 G2 G4 H1 H2. So this is the final solution for problem number 1. This is the overall transfer function for the given signal flow graph. So how we have written, k varies from 1 to 2 for us, so therefore it is P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2 by delta. So this completes our discussion on problem number 1, wherein which we have calculated the overall transfer function for the given linear control system by using Mason's Kane formula. That's all from this lecture. Thank you all.